Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk,
Taking
where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable
let's get down.
conversation.
Taking
All right?
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce who's here. I know Quan will be, not Quan, good Lord. Posha will be coming in later. But we do have Quan right here. So what up with it?
What's up, doctor? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Cool.
Cool. So, so the first thing I want to make sure I start off, I am under the weather right now. I've been out all day. It's been pretty bad. Not like overly bad, but you know. So if you see me click the screen off or something, it's probably because I'm sneezing or coughing or hacking up something. But we're gonna make it through the day. That's what we're gonna do.
Question, bro. Do you hear that drums in the back or no?
Who?
Do you hear them drums in the back?
At your school?
Yeah.
Barely.
Okay, cool. All right. Just don't want to disturb nothing.
But in all fairness, though, I can barely hear my music in my headphones, and I got my headphones up. So that may be a residual of whatever's going on with me right now. So
I got you.
You know. But anyway, man, so I want to kind of go ahead and start this off, man. Honestly, the way I wanted to start it was just talking about what has transpired in this past, I guess you want to say this past week. Unfortunately, we lost somebody very, very near and dear to the Spartan Legion, music education, just in general. And so I did want to kind of bring that up and talk about that. We lost Mr. Emery Fears. So you have to bear with me. I'm trying to get through this. So on this past week, we lost a huge person and an educator. And Mr. Emery Fears, we all know him as the man responsible for what we know today as the Spartan Legion marching band. But what many don't know is he was also very, very influential and was responsible for the success of the IC Norcom High School Band from 1952 to 1972 before taking his talents to Norfolk State. So he is a native of Tuskegee. He was a native of Tuskegee, Alabama. He was a member of the Navy Band, an alumnus of Howard University, and took the Norcom Band to many performances such as the Indianapolis 500 and the Cherry Blossom Parade in DC, as well as countless performances from adjudication and being super successful. So he is loved and cherished by the Legion family and the IC Norcom family. And so I wanted to make it a point, to make sure that I say something about this. And one of the coolest things is, he was blessed to be able to be around for the Rose Bowl parade. And so, I was excited that he was able to see the Legion there, and he was able to do that for his passing. So he will be missed. And we all say rest in peace, Chief, and behold. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there, man. So, rest in peace to Chief, man. I didn't know if you had anything to add to that, so I was just gonna put that out there.
Nah, man, that's a GOAT resume to me.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a GOAT resume to me.
So yeah, man, I just wanted to do that, man, very quickly. But anyway, let's keep this thing going. Quan, what you got going on, bro?
Well, it's the busiest, most exciting time of the year out here. We just finished the MLK parade. So my students, they did well. For that, we did that Monday. We have a competition this Saturday, a drumline competition Saturday. and it's parade season, Mardi Gras season in Galveston, that area that comes around. But we also have solo and ensemble. We're getting prepared for UIL festivals. Busy time of the year, and not to mention, I know we're going to mention it later, but uh, we are raising funds to attend the National Fourth of July parade in Washington D.C. So we're planning on going up there July 2nd through like 7th around that time frame. So it's a lot of things we got to get together. Audition season, so just a lot, bro.
Yeah, this is a super busy time for you know, music education, specifically secondary, high school, and so on and so forth. So, I know you're going to be super busy, man. And then also you got TMEA coming up. I am super excited. I went ahead and registered for TMEA. I'm registered. I'm ready to go. Um, so I'm super excited about that. So yeah, man, I do want to say good luck and all the endeavors that you have. I know the parade that you have coming up. Good luck with your kiddos and that as well. Um, but something else did happen this past week or this past weekend. So I wanted to say it like this, even though I don't. I want to make sure people understand. I only thought of it this way because I just wanted to say it this way. So this past, what was it? This past week or this past weekend, we had the Blastissimo Band Fest that happened this past weekend. And in Atlanta, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was Atlanta. But I was able to watch a couple of clips from there. So the first thing I was curious about, because I thought that this particular performance was going to be either like stand battle or field show. And when I turned it on, they were on a basketball court. So for me, I thought that was just kind of weird, I guess. Um, and I mean, they put on respectable performances. Specifically talking about having a being on a basketball court. But I was expecting to see them on a field and in that kind of environment. But nonetheless, I do want to say that I did watch it. There were some things that for me, I was just kind of, well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I'm not going to say that anybody sounded terrible, and I'm not going to say anybody sounded bad. I think the only thing that I was thinking was, when are these bands doing wind ensemble? That's the only thing I was thinking. Um, I'm glad that so many kids were there, and the kids were able to participate, and the universities were able to participate. Um, but if I'm not mistaken, some of the bands that are performing in this, that just performed in this one, are also performing in the one in February, right? Not all of them, but I believe some of them. Um, so, and then there are some of those bands who are also doing um, parades. So between that battle, parades, and the next battle coming up, I'm just curious as to when ensemble was happening. I think that was the only thing that I was thinking about. And I see that what you're saying, Amos. Technically, none of them are back in school yet, and that may be true too. So I don't know what the schedules are as far as them being in school. I just know that that's what I was thinking about when I was watching it. So that's what my thought was. But I will say this. Um, you know, performances were cool. I'm sorry. I have to give it up to Simon right quick, because Simon got some good footage of the dancers, and the dancers are killing. There is, so for me personally, and I'm not a dancer. I'm not a dancer. I couldn't tell you too many things of what's happening. There are things that I do know. There are things that I don't know. But I will tell you, these dance squads are killing it nowadays. And they are doing some really, really good things. I am more than impressed when I see Southern, when I see the Dolls. The show that they put on, I thought was really good. Um, and Alabama, A&M, those two dance lines for me were the two dance lines that I felt like, stood out. From a band perspective, I will say that it was good to be able to see a lot of those bands there or representing. Um, I'll also say that a lot of them kind of sounded very similar. I mean, I'll say that. Miles did approach it a little bit differently than most, as far as sound. Um, and I haven't finished listening to everybody, but I know I listened to, I think it was Miles, um, Southern, Jackson, and somebody else. I don't remember who the other people were. But were you able to catch that, Quan?
Not really. I'm gonna be real. I don't from the clips that I seen. I only watch Justin clips. Being honest, and I've seen a few of the interviews. I don't know who the gentleman is, but he was interviewing like some of the band directors in the back. Um, if y'all know, just let me know. But like I saw a few of those things on Instagram. That's the light of Jesus back there. The light of Jesus. That's the halo. But nah, I didn't watch too many. Everything that I saw was from Justin, and I'm talking about the footage from Justin is immaculate. Uh, but I mean,
I agree.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say I'm kind of like tired of marching band, but I think me because I'm so busy with my school, I just was like I'm kind of like uber focused on like wind ensemble and different things like that. And I know what you said earlier, and I saw in the comment, you said, when is wind ensemble taking place? And somebody in the comment was like, well, technically their school didn't start, which is true, because college the semester starts after MLK Day. So I mean that makes sense. But I with football season, last fall just ending, I think I need a different type of course. I'll put it like that. That's really it.
Got you. No, I feel you, and it's fair to be able to say that as well. Just knowing that you may want to pause on the marching band energy for right now, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We can't marching band ourselves to death, and some people can. And I think that's a personal preference. There's nothing wrong with that. Maya, what up, girl?
Hey y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Woke up from a fire nap.
Right?
Do I play the same thing every time?
Who you? Yes,
Oh.
you do. You hit the hey y'all hey y'all.
Well, what else I'm supposed to say? What's
That should be a shirt.
happening?
That should be a shirt. Hey,
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all. Right. Nothing much. I'm still making it through this 3 hours of footage myself. I'm all the way up to who is this? Miles so far? I'm still kind of confused. I ain't quite figured it out. Is it half floor show, half stand battle? Like, okay, okay, all right. So I'm not quite sure what the gist of it is, but okay, so half floor show, half stand battle. Okay, well, I'm currently watching.
Yeah, and I think the other half, and I'll be honest, the other reason why I'm not specifically going to judge on what I hear is because I made it a point to say, and I said this a long time ago, when it comes to our bands, for some reason, whatever you hear on the tape is not exactly what you hear, live. That's always the argument.
Yeah.
So I just be like, all right, well, nice showing. If I wasn't there live, then I'm just not gonna make too many comments about it. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. But I will say this: I did watch all the Simon. Well, I watched other videos, but I watched most of Simon's videos because the Simon's videos are immaculate. Justin ain't Justin no more. I'm just gonna let y'all know that his name is Simon from here on out.
Same. Happy
Yeah.
belated birthday, Simon. Because
Yeah, man. I saw that.
I commented on his birthday post. I was like, go ahead, Simon.
Yeah, I forgot that it was his birthday, man. Happy birthday to you. 100%. Oh man, I didn't know that. You need to tell him. Anyway, we'll talk about that. But anyway, but yeah, man. So, but no, shout out to all the programs that did participate. You know, kudos to y'all. Kudos to the kids. The only thing for me, if I'm going to talk about anything band, y'all know I'm gonna bring up J5. It was J3. And Simon tried to get them marching in. He got them up close, but they, you know, it was only 3 of them, so they couldn't do their full intro, and it was all good. But then there was, oh, go ahead.
Has Talladega always had 5 drum majors?
I think at one time they had more than 5.
At one time they had like 7.
Yeah.
For what? That ain't my business. That's rude. Just kidding.
No. I mean, for right now, I'm gonna be honest. More than 5 didn't make any sense, but they were larger than what you saw on the video. They were huge. But then seeing the video, I also realized like half their percussion section is their band. They got like 50 cymbals. And I'm over exaggerating on the cymbal line, but they got a lot of cymbals though.
I mean,
they got a lot of cymbals.
Ain't cat the same way. Put some of them people on them horns. They got 67 people in the percussion section. 46 people in Golden Delight.
They got 12 snares for sure. 10 to 12 snares for sure.
They got a lot of them. There's a lot of them. All right, man. So I want to go ahead and move on. So like I said before, I am under the weather. I don't know if you can hear it, but there is some difference in me. But I want to continue to move forward because I felt like this conversation tonight was a very serious conversation that we needed to have. And I'll get into it after we do this. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy right now. Don't even wait on it. Just go ahead and get it out of the way. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. So first off, my book for Dr. Sanford has not come in yet. I'm still waiting on that. And I do want to say 100%. Last show, Dr. Sanford show was super dope. I learned a lot. A lot of people learned a lot. I felt very honored to be able to have him here and have that conversation with him and allow him to just speak. I know that he wanted a lot of people to ask a lot of questions. And then I was finding out that it was something going on with the link. And so if I wish somebody would have told me, I would have tried to figure out a way to fix it. But I enjoy just letting him go ahead and rock. Quan, what do you got?
Man, you know, we forgot to talk about the Rolling Pears Battle of the Band in Dallas.
We absolutely did. And I meant to bring it up. I
forgot about it because like I say, it was like hit and miss, but the clips that I did see, there were some good clips. I believe Westbury won. Well, no, Westbury won something, but Townview won it all, actually. Yeah. Townview won it all.
I think it was.
Of course they did.
Selves won it all. So yeah, your former student as the head band director, yeah, he won it.
I know that's right.
Yeah, Gibson.
Yeah, so he won it.
So and here's a quick story about that.
Recording? Are you recording? Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording.
All right.
Now don't be so like matter of fact about it as if you always got it on lock.
No, I had to say it like that. I because if y'all realize my energy is not the same right now, so that's why I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, I pressed the button. I pressed the button a while ago. But no, funny story. Well, I guess it's not funny, but it kind of is funny. Speaking of Talladega, they called me today. But it was funny because I've been sick all day. So I was knocked out. And when they picked up the phone, they were like, "Man, I've been trying to reach you. You all right?" I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I had to that pep in your step that you got to find somewhere to let people know that you weren't sitting up here knocked out. But no, man, congratulations to them. It was a couple bands in there that did a really good job. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Texas Southern was there and with
Langston was there.
yeah,
Langston was there as well.
yeah, man. So I watched a couple of those videos, man. I couldn't get into all of them, unfortunately, because I started watching videos. I think it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. But what I'm feeling right now kind of started to creep up on me yesterday, and so I just was kind of like, I'm good, I'm down.
I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it was an overload of bands this weekend, but it was a lot going on. I mean, from MLK alone, and everybody knows, like from the high school sector, MLK is a battleground. It's like the pre Mardi Gras that in the South. Uh, you had the HBCU culture thing, and shout out to Dollar Watson. That uniform jacket was fire. I don't know if y'all saw it. Did you see it, Luke? He had a custom made uniform that it was had the Miami Dolphins color, but it said Dollar Watson going on. It was fire. So shout out to him. He had that event, the Roland Parish Battle of the Band. I mean, it just was a lot that was just taking place this weekend. It low key like it was an overload.
So that may have been your issue. You probably were just over OD'd on marching band. You were just marching band out because of the not only because you performed, but because the level of performances that were also being had, and you just kind of was like, you know what, I want to kind of release. No, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. But going back to what I was saying about Dr. Sanford, no, it was a super dope thing to have that conversation with him. Here's the thing. One of the things that he brought up, and one of the things that I know stood out to me, was when he was talking about his trip to Minnesota and going there, and how he was reluctant because he was scared. And I wanted to have the conversation about that, not specifically Dr. Sanford, but us as people, fear, being scared, not taking chances. Because I think it holds us back from a lot, and we're really going to dive into that. But just imagine him giving into that fear. Just imagine him being scared and not being able to take that chance to go to Minnesota. Would his story be different than what he's lived? And I think that is something that I really want to talk about today. You know, I plan on, if I health wise, I plan on, if I can make it through this show, being very candid and open about a lot of things. I hope that you guys are too, you all in the chat as well, because I think that we need to have this conversation. So, first question. When I was younger, sometimes my mom would say this to me, or to my brother, or about me, or about my brother. Have y'all ever heard somebody say, you fear success?
In so many words, yeah.
So let me ask. So that's the first question. Is the fear of success a real thing?
I think so. I think so. Like, to me, that puts me in the mindset of imposter syndrome, because fear of success could also be fear of self, because you're afraid of putting yourself in a predicament to where whatever could happen. And that's tough, to be able to step outside of yourself and say, well, what could be? You know what I'm saying? Like, we always say it takes a mustard seed of faith, but also faith without works is dead. So what's the balance between those two? You know what I'm saying? But success could be literally the choice that we decide or don't decide to make tomorrow, and we could alter what have you. So I don't know that's a very good question, because I always find myself between, okay, well, what's for you is for you, but then also, without making certain choices, do you still end up with what's for you and how you get there? I don't know if this really answers the question, but this is just all the mindset, or this is just what comes to mind when I think of that. And for
Okay.
me, it's grounded in fear of self.
Okay. Quan, is fear of success a real thing?
I do. It is, and I think I agree with everything Maya says. As she stated, in regards of imposter syndrome. Uh, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe what is just for you is for you. I don't. The only reason why I said it is because I believe, and this is Quano here. I believe that God gives you the imagination, but then He's not going to do it for you. And this is from a personal situation. For example, I've always wanted to be an arranger, right? I have songs that's in my head, and Luke, we be like, we just was on the phone the other day. I'll be like, hey, you write this, man, I'm gonna write this, and just talking back and forth, right? But nobody's gonna write those songs for you. Like you can have those great ideas, but nobody gonna write them songs for you. And I believe that God gives you the tree, but it's your imagination that can turn that tree into the table. So I think the fear of success is imposter syndrome. So we agree with that. But I would like to take it a step further, bro. If we're speaking about band, and let me know if I'm going to the next question, because I tend to do that. In regards of band, for what I see, bro, it's not so much fear of success when it comes to our culture and what we're trying to do and pursue as music educators and whatnot. Sometimes it's the fear of rejection because of what you see, or it's the
Yeah,
fear
you brought up
of.
another topic.
We agree, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you got a knack for doing that, and that's actually a later topic. But I want to read this quote, and then I'm going to quickly go into the next topic because these things are going to get layers put on. First of all, have either one of you all seen the movie After Earth? It's the Will Smith movie where he had the terrible accent. So personally, for me, I'm just going to say for me, I like that movie. It was Will Smith and Jaden. I didn't think it was the greatest movie ever because obviously it had its flaws, but I still think there were some things about the movie I liked. But one of the things that he said in the movie was the only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future, right? It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. He goes on to say that is near insanity. So my question is, well, the first question is, if the future is unknown, then what are we afraid of? If the future is unknown, then what are we afraid of?
Well, what several things. Like being honest, a lot of us. I just gotta say it. A lot of our parents have placed their limitations on us, right? Some of your environment has placed limitations on on the people, right? As a music educator, bro, and I know the kids that we meet are extraordinary kids, right? But a lot of times they don't go to the next level because of the parent. How many times have we been in situations where, yeah, the child has to go to work, but you don't want them to go off to college because you want them to stay there and work? It's situations that take place like that. I think what it is, many times those limitations that people have placed on us, when you're reared into an environment of limitations, it's scared to jump out the boat because you can actually swim, but you don't know because your whole life for 15, 20 years, somebody has told you can't do it. And then when you realize you can, I mean, think about it. What if somebody told you couldn't walk for 20 years and then somebody was like, bro, get up and walk? I mean, I could walk. Like, come on. Psychologically, like we beat up ourselves. So I think it's just the limitations from the environments that are around us, and some of us overcome those that environment, those limitations, those chains that other people have placed on you, once you're able to get rid of those and know who you are, man, sky's the limit.
Okay. My, if the future is unknown, then what are we afraid of?
I mean, that's a good point because if you say it as simple as that, it makes you think like, well, shit, what am I afraid of? But when you think about it in real time, when you get accustomed to such a thing, and just like Quan was saying, like whether it's environmental factors, whether it's complacency, whether it's conditioning or whatever that looks like, stepping outside of that realm is hard. Just like we've had conversations before, whether we're talking about band, real life, or what have you. After being in band for so long and you switching up your lifestyle, or you growing out of it and going to the next thing, all you really know are the cadences or the the norm that you frequent. So just kind of stepping outside of that can be scary. Anything it's and I don't want to say it as in living in fear because that's a whole different caveat of it. But the unknown is scary. I mean, just honestly, like, because it can be good, it can be bad. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know, okay,
Got
well, if I
controls.
choose pill A over pill B, okay, what are gonna be the pros and cons of that versus this and all these other things? It's just so much the fear.
You're
The
not in
not
control.
knowing is scary. It's terrifying because there's so many different factors that could come any which way. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what we're afraid of, but I think it's just something different.
I give you two examples. Prime example, when you first got to Norfolk, when we first got to PV, no lie, it wasn't that we were afraid of the process. We were just like, y'all, how does this organization run? Contrary to the one that we came from, right? Like, so that's an unknown. Like when people do talk about the stories of campus runs and campus tours, can I make it through? I don't know. I'm not sure. Can I finish my crabbing process? I don't. I'm not sure. Can I finish? Can I cross my section? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. So and you walk through it because that's something that you wanted, and you have to have more tenacity than fear, right? But I'm gonna take it a step further to go even deeper. For me personally, bro, coming from my environment, I was so accustomed of poverty that I had to realize, bro, like I'm a successful, educated black man that's a middle class person. That I had to become accustomed of having money legally. You feel what I'm saying? Like when you're accustomed, and it goes back to your environment and it goes back to who's pouring into you. If the people who are pouring into you are poison and toxic, then you're going to um, bleed the fruits of something that's toxic. But when you surround yourself around people that are investing into you, that are positive, that's pure, that's good hearted, that invest into you as the human being and don't have malicious intent, then it's different. Think about it. There's some relationships that we don't walk into because we're afraid of what happened from past experiences. That's the same thing. The fear comes from the unknown because I'm not in control. And once you realize in life that it's certain aspects to go to the next level of the blessing that you want, you cannot be in control. So
So, that is a very interesting point that you just brought up, Quan. Being around people who are going to support, encourage,
Exactly.
which will allow you to relinquish some of those fears, right? As a culture, how often are we around those people though?
That's a good that's a good question. There are some people who I know who have grown up with people who speak nothing but power into them, or in the sense of developing them in which confidence is not even like a thought, right? It's not a thing that you have, it just is. It's all they know. Whereas you have some people where maybe you live in fear, or if you were sheltered, or this, that, and the third, or if it's a more realistic approach or what have you, then you have to unlearn those ways. And it's not until you, like Quan was saying, you get that from yourself that you're able to step outside of things. But I think that that's, if we're talking about how often, I'd like to say unfortunately, it may be less often, but I would like to think that our generations, and especially these newer generations, are going to be ahead of the game, in which they're going to be the changing shift that will allow for more people down the road to be able to have that upbringing or that awareness or that power spoken through them more often. And it'll kind of create a hopefully a culture set, or that, at least that is my hope. And
I,
it's not like people like me or whomever who had to, and not to say I don't, no disrespect to my parents, and it's nothing like that. But until like I started learning different things or having different conversations of trying to figure out, okay, what actually can I do for myself, or what actually is out there for me, what actually is attainable in real time that I think that I can do, not what everybody else wants me to do.
But I think that's an interesting thought, right? What you want to do versus what everybody else wants you to do. I think most of the time we think that we are surrounding ourselves with people who are supportive of us, but really ain't supportive of us.
Oh, for sure.
Not truly supportive in our endeavors, not truly supportive in the things that we want to do. And in most cases, we're still doing the thing that they want us to do. I'm so let's talk about fear, right? March. March will be specifically 1 year since I've been teaching inside of a school system. Like my last time in the classroom was March. When we talk about fear, knowing that I was leaving the classroom after being in the classroom for 12 years prior and understanding that system, my family knowing that system, my friends knowing that system, and then honestly, except for a select few people, I didn't even tell them what I was doing because I already knew what the conversation was going to be. Bruh, what you gonna do? How you gonna make money? How you gonna live? What the kids gonna do? What the it's and that within itself creates its own fear within, and it did it was inside myself. The great thing is that and I'll tell anybody, you got to have a great support system. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even tell my mom for real because I knew those questions were gonna come up. The only person who knew was my wife, and we had that conversation, and she supported me in that. And even though it was a difficult thing to step away, I knew I had somebody in my corner who was going to support me. You know, but I think that sometimes we surround ourselves with people who we believe are being supportive, but ain't really being supportive. So then I think that builds a fear and within us. So
and but that's when but it's unfortunate, but tribulation shows character. And when you're going through situations like that, that's when you see who your real people really are. Um, and that's why, praying for discernment of who your real circle is. Like, people fail to realize my grandfather always taught me Jesus had 12 disciples, but his real partners, he only had three of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you gotta find those people at those specific times and season of your life to lift you up, bro, when you're weak. That's why I look at things like we did the pledging show like 2 weeks. Some of those hard lessons in pledging are supposed to transfer to real life. Some of the poems that we recited that you were, gung-ho about learning and reciting, sometimes you have to regurgitate that and think, okay, I am the master of my fate. I'm the captain of I'm controlling this, even though it looks futile right now, but I'm controlling this. And even though I can't imagine, bro, that scary feeling of being like, I gotta look out for me and I'm willing to walk out of this situation. But I know I got me. I know my wife got me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something different. But look at the other side of it. And that's the thing about life. There's the other side of the blessing is so much it's uncomparable to what's endeavoring right now. And many times, like you was talking about Dr. Sanford, yeah, he had a little bit of fear. Like when I asked him, I was like, have you ever felt like you wasn't good enough? He was like, yeah. And being honest, that was the first time as a music educator, I was like, okay, I ain't the only one.
I agree.
I ain't I ain't the only one that feels like that. I'm not the only one that second guesses himself. Or should I have put that person out the band? Should I have picked that drum major when he was giving all those examples, bro? Like, but you live and you learn and you look back and be like, man, I'm so much better because of this situation. So yeah, man.
But I think, and that goes into, and I guess for me, I want to bring that up here because I know we had that conversation on the phone. But I think just going into what you were just talking about in his conversation, I think that we don't realize as band directors specifically that we all have many similarities, but I think we build this mindset up and this thought process that we're the greatest ever. And when we get in some of our circles, we don't even admit to the things on to the things that we have done or the mistakes that we have made. We just always talk about the good things that we do. And so it builds a fear in other people, other educators, when they're like, well, they got it right, so now I gotta get it right. And if I don't get it right, then I'm the one with the problem. I have the issue. And I think that we as educators, as band directors, have to give each other more grace. But I think the other half is we also got to be honest with ourselves. I think one of the problems that and one of the things that he mentioned was that he himself has put music on the stand and had to rip it up, ball it up, and say, yeah, I made the mistake. But how often do we hear that from band directors? All we hear is, man, this man is the GOAT. Man, this man can write. Man, but we don't hear, well, this young brother, he writes, but there are some things that he can work on. He's well aware of that, so he's still working on it. I don't think that we have those conversations. So it builds a fear within us of, I gotta do everything right. And if I don't, then I'm the one with the problem. I'm not good enough.
But I think, bro, I think many people are not honest with themselves with that, and then it becomes a phallus measuring competition. Like when it boils down to that, because you and I know this is an ongoing process, and what Dr. Sanford said, I'm still learning, but I'm also still giving advice too. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he's still reinvesting into the craft that he loves so much. I think the problem is, now I'm gonna be honest with you, band directors back in the day had a different type of reverence because they had during segregation, during racist times, right? Again, like we don't have to go through the lesson. We know where they was getting their master's degrees from. They was leaving Southern, and what he said, he hopped in the car from Southern, and he went to Michigan, Michigan State, and those particular areas like that. Now, because of social media, people are pinning one another against each other. People are, people are doing those things, but also you have to realize you're only as good as your team too. He said, my best friend Paul I. Adams. He said I talked to him. I saw this wise counsel. They were friends. So if you don't have those type of people, like I have you got Rick. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a circle and a community of people that is like, should I really make that decision? So I think it's still happening, but you gotta find your niche of people. I'm sure it's Southern people that speak amongst Southern people about what do you think I should do, X, Y, Z, blah, 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 to make sure that they're keeping their traditions. Excuse me. But I think we just have to be honest with ourselves more to realize that in 20 years we're gonna be the Dr. Sanfords. So what are we doing now to invest into those people? It's like this question so deep, bro. It can go a long, long time. Okay.
Maya, any thoughts?
I agree.
I
you
just,
know,
I
I
just,
agree.
just got one question for you, man. Like,
Mhm.
do you see that in the dancing world? Do you see more camaraderie or yeah?
Um, that's a good question. I guess, huh? That's interesting. It's not something that I've really thought about lately because I'm not as close to it anymore, right? But in the sense of what I can think about going way back when I was growing up and still training in a studio and being in someone else's company or what have you, the camaraderie was more so like what you were saying back in the day with band directors. It was because they had to connect on something, right? The only other black girl that was in the class or whatever, that is where the camaraderie came from. Now, in terms of growing up, you know, um, I don't really know. Let me think about that one because I'm not quite sure. Let me think about it and I'll come back.
And I'm glad you kind of did that. I kind of threw it to you because I had to clear my throat too. So I don't. There was two reasons. It was twofold that I did that. I had a little phlegm there, so I had to. Hey, Ma, you got it. You know. So but yeah.
But
So
see, you being self-aware, right? You were okay with knowing that you did not have it in the pocket at that time, and you resulted to the next best thing. That's exactly what we.
absolutely, absolutely. Hey man, just got to keep a G, man. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. All right, man. Let's go on to the next topic. So let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy. Do not wait. We having real conversations today. We're not just gonna be talking about cranking it up today. Maybe later when Simon comes on, we'll probably talk a little bit about that. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passengers Network and turn on notifications. Man, this episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Also, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I could be absolutely wrong, but I think Crucial Conflict had like 10,000 views on one of their videos. I think it was for the band awards. So I did want to give a shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. I think it was like 10,000 views or something like that. So shout out to Crucial Conflict, man. I felt the need to say that, man, because I think one of the things that we do and tends to happen is, and I could be wrong. Once again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sometimes we pit ourselves against each other, and I don't agree with that. I want everybody to support everybody. So shout out to them. Let's continue to support all of these shows and podcasts. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. Here we go. Okay, here we go. What makes social acceptance such a major issue? What makes social acceptance such a major issue? Quan. Maya, I see you shaking your head. Did you want to take it?
Oh,
Define what
I'm
it
just
is.
thinking. Go ahead, Quan. Yeah, go ahead.
No, define what it is before I go in the bag, like you say, and it be the wrong pocket of the bag. So define it for me, brother.
I actually want you to go in your bag because there is no set ground for my because at the end of the day, we tend to rely heavily on social acceptance in order for us to make us and validate us, and that tends to build a fear within us. So what makes social acceptance such a major issue? Why do we need that? Why is that something that we continue to thrive for?
Well, in my opinion, I feel like because we didn't get it at home. I think many of, like we were saying earlier, limitations, many of the fears, the chains, fetters, whatever you want to call it, are placed on you and is passed down. In my opinion, though, that's another form of generational curses. Like, think about how many parents be like, "Man, you can't do that. But in your heart of heart, what if you really was like, but I really can though. You know, I think about things like that. And now with social media, people are doing anything for a like. That's a sense of affirmation. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about how many men and women do specific things, good, bad, or ugly, or indifferent, just for a click or a like. Is people want that affirmation because you don't believe it yourself. As a person thinks, so is he. So if you don't believe it, I need to be affirmed by this person, this outside person, because you're not thinking they wouldn't lie to me. Yeah, they would. You know what I'm saying? And then we tend to not even believe the ones that's close to us. Like, man, you really are good band director. You really are a good dancer. Nah, they just saying that because they trying to be nice. Isn't
I
like isn't that like it's really moronical and almost asinine to think about the compliments that some of our close friends give us. We don't accept them, but we want the strangers. We want those affirmations. It's because I feel like some of that we didn't get coming up. And like Maya said and interjected earlier, bro, the people that was invested from a young age that was told there's nothing that you cannot do. Like the what you call those? I guess affirmations. Like I know some parents gave their kids affirmation. There's nothing that you cannot do. You are king and you're a queen and queens operate like and they grow up saying those specific things. They have a different sense of maturity. But also understand when you have somebody investing in you like that, they don't have some of them, not to go say all, but some of them don't have the same type of trauma either. Understand, like when you're not invested as a child like that, you grow up and that young child never develops. So you just have a older outer shell, but you're still a kid in the heart because you never grew that part up. So that's why you're seeking validation from outside people, and you don't even believe the people in your own home. So I mean, it's really a psychological thing. But if you can't see yourself doing it, if you don't think you pretty, well, then you giving off that I'm ugly energy, and that's what you attract as well. I mean, it goes deeper than that, bro. But you didn't get it, so you're wanting it from other people. So.
Bro, when I tell you hit the nail on the head, um, so I don't mind being open about me. Um, my best friend is Rick. You know, I have more than one best friend, but y'all know Rick. You know what I'm saying? But on multiple occasions, he has told me, bro, dog, you can teach. Bro, you're good. Bro, you got talent. Bro, like it's been that conversation, and I've known him since I was 18. But I can guarantee you, every time he told me that stuff, I always still felt like I wasn't good enough. Every single time, you know, he if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten into drum corps. I wouldn't have started teaching in drum corps if it wasn't for him. And even in that, walking into that space, I was scared as hell. I was fearful, man. I'd never walked into that space before. You know, I know trumpet. I knew how to teach trumpet. I knew how to teach band. I knew how to teach music, but I never jumped in that space before. And he told me he wouldn't have put me out there if he didn't think I was good enough. You know, and I ended up doing it. Not only did I do it, I did it very well. That I've never received negative comments. I just put it that way. I've always was, hey man, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. My kids, the kids that I taught, they respect me highly, you know. But I still never felt like I was good enough. And a lot of that plays in my psyche. And I can walk around and say, man, I'm good. Man, I'm dope. I can do that. But I'm also not a boastful person. That's just not my personality. That's just not my energy. I've never been like that. I've never been like that as far as the band world is concerned. When I've hopped on the podium, when I've been in front of the band, I've always been, specifically when I was at Prairie View, I've never been that person that was just, you know, overly exerting this big-headed energy. I've never been that person. But I think that what you're saying and what you said, Quan, is 100% absolutely right. I think sometimes that we ourselves, even when we get it from our closest friends, even when we get it to the people who truly mean the most to us, I think that it's still a psyche and a mental thing to where we're still reaching for that acceptance in other places. And in most cases, those places that don't even matter.
And them people be lying to you.
True.
Like, how many times, like, we just gonna keep it a buck. How many times we go read them comments about some, just keep it 1,000 on some of the sounds of the bands be playing? We be like, and people like, man, they the GOAT. They this, man, they that. They sound good. And we be like, no, they don't. They don't sound good. They hanging over. They blasting, blastissimo. You know, they tripping like that. That don't sound good. But because that's your partner, you gonna ride with them though. If that's your real friend, now you may not have to excoriate them publicly, but you could tap them on, hey, bro, that don't sound good. A real friend gonna tell you got a booger in your nose. I mean, come on, bro.
All right. Maya, what makes social acceptance such a major issue?
Oh, child, I did not come on here to be convicted today, Lord. I just don't understand why we have to do why we have to do this. I mean, okay, for the sake of the question in and of itself. I mean, I don't know. I think it just honestly, it just depletes. It breaks down just the walls of reality, right? So if we're talking about it in a band perspective, and to me, my thought goes into like social media or what have you, right? So we have these different eras, like soft girl era. Now we got soft black man era, this, that, and the third. It just makes it to where all of these asinine things that are supposed to be acceptable are truly, it just makes things that much harder to obtain, or that much harder for people to be people. You know what I'm saying? Like now everybody's striving to be the kings, or everybody's striving to be this particular, fall into this particular vertical of what makes a true black girl luxury or whatever you. So now everybody is trying to pinpoint of what they're aspiring to as opposed to just being, right? And it's like, well, if you don't never make it to this particular era, or if you don't fall into this particular line, then you ain't shit, or you don't have nothing going for yourself, or nothing to speak of, or nothing to be proud of, or what have you. And I just think that it just breaks down reality, because that's what makes us us. That's what makes our community our community. That's what makes our culture culture. So many different aspects that come together to make one big thing. That's the beauty of it all. But like trying to be socially accepted and trying to put us into these particular realms, it's just like, okay, well, we're just all trying to be copycats of one another, right? So to speak, what Dr. Sanford was saying last week, he was like, like what's going on in the music community right now, it ain't necessarily for him. You know what I'm saying? Like this era of bands is not necessarily for him, and he had to get out because it no longer speaks to him in that manner, right? And that's okay, because like you said, blastissimo, this, that, and the third. Everybody want to keep up with the kings. Everybody wants to be something that they truly are not, or are not supposed to be. And it just, I don't know, it just ruins everything. Like, you can't be yourself. You can't feel accepted. You can't feel like you're always forced to feel less than. And who wants to live like that? You know what I'm saying? We already somewhat feel less than, or depending on what part of your journey you are as a black person, you know what I'm saying? Whether you code switching still or whatever, as blacks or people of color or whatever, we need to, whatever path we're going down, we already face that in and of itself day to day, right? And then we have to take that and place that in every demographic in every portion of our lives. That's just, it's insane. And it's just, No wonder all of us walking around batshit crazy. You know what I'm saying? And needing this, that, and the third to get through the day. Because we just walking around with our heads cut off. We might as well be in the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. But no, and now, Luke, what you were saying, you know, you and I have had candid conversations offline and about that same manner. That self-doubt, no matter what and how much people feed into you, it's a killer. And it's to this day, I still struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, sometimes it makes it feel like, well, damn, what's wrong with me? Is this something that I will never be able to grow out of? Or what is it that continues this cycle? Yes, you can grow and get closer to the end of it, but what is it about this self-doubt or not being able to see or feel what other people feel for you? It's crazy. And it's just kind of like it gives me anxiety, or it makes my heart just, because I struggle with that. And I know if I struggle with that, the next person who you it be the people that you will never guess struggle with it have the biggest struggles. And I would like for all of us to be free from that at some point. I don't know what it's gonna take, but I would like that for everybody. If anybody knows how I felt or how you felt, I would like for us all to be able to free ourselves from that pain and that just grief that, I don't know, it kind of just feels like a black hole sometimes. And I hate to get dark, but we just being transparent and honest. You on mute.
You know me, bro.
Yeah. So I think for me, just to interject real quick, I think, like I've been saying, a lot of things have been passed down. But the truth is, one day you just got to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're good enough. And when you have them doubts, you got to tell yourself, I'm good enough. Because again, here at Worthy, because hey, I deal with that as well, being transparent. And so one thing that we do, like you say, you got your Spartan Legion chant, our creed, our motto. I know the Storm, we have ours. Here, I tell my kids every day when they dismiss, their affirmation is, as a person thinks, so he or she shall become. So I'm going to think great thoughts. I'm going to do great things. I'm going to accomplish everything I set my mind to. I am greatness, and greatness is in me, and I'm a world changer. And I have them dissect those lines, because most children are in households, they're getting browbeat all the time. Like I said, the limitations of their parents are being placed on them. Even so to where I had a kid had a full scholarship. Their parent was like, no, I don't want you, I don't want you to go that far. Not that they couldn't get there. I don't want you to go that far. And because of that, it's been 3 years now. That young lady, she has 3 kids now. Not saying that had to be her outcome, but she decided to, deal with this young man. They moved in together. Outstanding dancer, though. That's what happens when the limitation of the parent, because the parent didn't see themselves even going to college. I run into also situations where parents be like, I'm not giving y'all my tax information to mess up my tax stuff. So now the kid can't get FAFSA. So now how they going to afford school? You see what I'm saying? When those things are invested in you from birth to where you're 18, you have to, that's why, like, honestly, a lot of us in our 30s have to go to therapy, because you got to break psychologically 20 years of damage of what people have invested in you that God did not even intend you to carry. All of us deal with a form of anxiety, self-doubt, self-sabotage. That's why jumping out the boat is so hard. The worst thing of jumping out the boat is, I'm going to get wet, because you're not going to drown. But it's just the fact that I got to get out. But the boat comfortable. But The anxiety comes from, but I can't get the blessing in the boat. So I gotta get out of it. At the end of the day, bro, um, those limitations that people have placed on us, I believe, and I in my prayer time, God told me for some of the things that I endeavor in my family, I'm going to be the one to have to break the generational curse. And sometimes being chosen, that's the burden of being chosen. You're the one that has to carry. It may be generations of something that has been plagued your family, and God be like, you the one that's going to break it. So that's why we struggle with these things, because we feel like, man, why am I the only one that's dealing with this in my family? It seems like because you got to be the one that break it. You're going to be the one that speaks to your kids and speak life into them positively. You're going to be the first generation millionaire that creates generational wealth. You're going to be the one. So it's hard. Anything that anybody first starts is hard. But as a band director, to be there, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My band and Luke will be like, man, your band getting better, your band getting better, your band doing this, your band doing that. But the crazy thing about that is my band and people compliment, but because my band is not where I want them to be mentally, I'm still not good. Because what we were told, the reflection of the band is a reflection of you. So when they mess up, that's my fault. When they do this, that's my fault. See what I'm saying? So it's those type of things that as creators we struggle with. Well, if I got the proper class, maybe my band will be better. Now that's a whole nother conversation that we can, dive in and deal with. But that's all it's like, that's what we deal with as educators, as teachers. And let's not talk about the burdens we carry, because we carry them from the kids, because we trying to take them from them. Man, I'm gonna just stop right there, but we're gonna be the ones that break generational curses.
So you said a mouthful. The first thing I want to say is, back when I was at Madison, very similar to what you're saying, man. I would get, teachers, students, man, Mr. Luke, man, the band is doing great. They, the numbers are coming up. I like what I see, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be sitting back like, all right, I don't agree, but all right, if you say so, because I know in my mind where I want them to be, I feel where I feel they should be, and they ain't there yet. And I think that goes back to the conversation about giving ourselves grace, right? I don't think that we give ourselves grace from a personal standpoint, but then I don't even think we give ourselves grace individually. Sometimes as music educators, I don't think that we give ourselves grace. It's sometimes when we come to each other, it's like, yeah, man, that don't sound good, or yeah, they ain't good. It's never, man, I see improvement, man. That's what's up. Congratulations. And I think that is an unfortunate culture that we have created through this social media era. And I want to come back to that in a second, but I kind of want to pick up on what you were talking about, Quan, and kind of what Maya was talking about too. As far as the parents are concerned, I think our parents in some ways kind of ruin us, because I think that they taught us about this American dream, and this American dream ain't American dreaming. It just ain't. And so I think that we grew up with that mindset. We grew up with the idea of get your studies, go to college, come out, you'll be great. You'll be at this particular point, or you should be at this particular point by this particular age. And when that didn't happen, then we start to question, are we adequate enough? And then when we want to try to move on or try to go to the next thing, or we want to try to be better, then I think a lot of that, here comes that fear coming in. We're afraid to be able to take certain steps because we thought or we knew or we were supposed to be at a certain time, but we ain't there yet. So I want to keep riding in this thing to get where I'm supposed to be, but I ain't making it. But here's another avenue that I can take to get there, but I'm afraid to do that because that's not what I quote unquote went to school for, or that's not what my parents want me to do, or so many different avenues or thought processes to that. And I think that we have been ruined because of that in a lot of places. And yes, I agree, Quan. I think that a lot of times we need therapy. But I think that we've also built a mindset in our brain, specifically as Black people. And I will say the culture is shifting nowadays, but as Black people, we have gotten into the mindset of, well, I ain't going to see no doctor. I don't need them to tell me I'm crazy. Especially old folk. Let old folk, hey, you might need to go see a therapist. I ain't gonna let them tell me I'm crazy. And some of that has seeped into some of us. Now we're living in a culture and a time now where mental health and therapy is starting to become a social norm. But I still think that there's still a part of us that still kind of has some of that old residual, old info in us that's like, I don't know. And then I think here comes this other half of it, right? And I'm not saying that this is everybody, but because there's always outliers. But I think sometimes as men, we always have a mindset of, well, we can handle it. We make it. Just keep grinding. We'll get through it. And I think that is also something that I think is, I don't even think that was taught. Like, I don't like the mindset or the thought process that people say that men were taught these certain things. And the only reason why I can say that personally for me is because, and this is, I didn't grow up with my dad in my house. I had to go visit my dad on the weekends, right? So, but my dad never had those conversations with me. That quote unquote masculine conversation that a lot of people claim that men have with other men. I never had that conversation. To be this way, do this, do that. I never had that with my dad, but it was something innate with me in me that just made me not want to have these conversations and be vulnerable and say, hey, I'm going through, or hey, I feel this way. I just tough up and keep going. And I think that is something that dwells within us as well, that I think that we need to work through and come out of. And then on the back end of that, then we can bring up the social media aspect. I think, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, when it comes to confidence, fear, perception, I think social media has ruined all of us, specifically the younger generation than anything. You got these people on social media and your TikToks and your Instagrams and everything else who's 20 something years old, out on boats and everything else, portraying lives that they don't really have. They just spent their rent money to get there. But now, because so many people are consuming that, specifically young people, they think that that's what they got to do. Or let's go from a band perspective, right? You got your Southerns and your Jacksons, and I'll throw them in there, your Alcorns, and they're getting a certain level of notoriety and they're getting a certain level of views. And as a band director, when you got your little band over here, and that's no shade to, anybody got a little band, I just want to put that there, but you got your little band out there, and now you think you're not good enough because you ain't getting the views, you ain't getting the clicks, you ain't getting the likes, you ain't getting everybody saying all these great things about you. And we think that we have to be in these particular places. And I think I had this conversation with you, Quan. Half the problem when we have all these daggone band directors leaving these positions, specifically in universities, is either because A, they don't have a band that they think that they're supposed to have, or B, the administration thinks that they're supposed to have a specific type of band, instead of them letting those band directors grow their band the way they feel fit. Some band directors aren't bad. It's just going in a different direction than what everybody else is. So I don't.
I just want to end with this, and I'm not, and I'm being frank. It was about I think COVID either was just like it was at its peak, or it was like ending, where they were starting to like let us do hybrid school. I was so stressed about being a band director, weighing, having the weight of our kids, because you become their father, you become their mother, you become all of that. To where anxiety and those thoughts in your head got so overwhelming, to where I had, because kids were affected by COVID as well, because every kid, they didn't have a great home life. So imagine being home and you didn't have a great home life. Some of the, situations that they had to endeavor through in that house and whatnot. Everything that you can think of, most of those things happen to my students. And when they come in the office and they pour out to you, some had to, be filed with CPS cases, so forth and so on. It got so heavy for me, to where everybody has had a moment as an educator where you just like tired. I'm just tired. I'm why I started seeking therapy, because I literally said, I'm so tired. I prayed. I said, God, put me to sleep and don't wake me up. And I said, because I couldn't do, harm myself. I said, because if I do, what my kids gonna say about me? That's what some educators endeavor through. Well, what my kids gonna say? Not my family. What my kids gonna say? Like, we have to start being honest with ourselves, and you got to heal yourself first. When you're on an airplane, they say if something happens and it goes down, put your mask on first, then help the person next to you. The problem is, the truth is, have our parents have ruined us in some areas? Yes. To your point, Luke, you said we were sold a dream by them, but guess what? They were sold a dream too, bro. Like, they were told, you get a certificate, you know what I'm saying? You get your trade school, you'll have this. Well, guess what? The government made more rules to change that. We can go through history when what is it, in like 1971, when they was breaking up families due to welfare, and a man can't be in the home, and all we can go through that was in the 70s, and crack in the 80s, and then three strikes in the 90s, and so forth and so on. Every time, as a culture and as a people, we took like 5 steps forward. It was like, well, let me rechange the rules again and rechange the rules. And trauma is passed down, like you feel it sometimes, man. So you have to start taking care of yourself, man. Therapy, like what I've decided to do, and what I try to do, why I never try to miss a show, is because, first of all, the show is therapeutic for me, number one. Number two, out of 24 hours, you should at least have 4 hours to yourself, at minimum. You need to go do a walk, do breathing exercises, do something, but just for you. And when I started investing into me, that's when I started to get better. When I could turn my phone on do not disturb and be like, I don't want to be bothered. That's okay. You have to learn how to say, hey, I'm gonna put this off. I don't want to be bothered. And that's okay. You don't have to be a people pleaser, because as an educator, we want to be a servant to all. Nah, I can't. I need to refill my cup sometimes. And my last point to men, to all the men that hear me, you don't have to be Superman, because every person has a kryptonite. Remember that. You do not have to be Superman, because every person has a kryptonite, even the people we look up to. And one thing that, as Black men, we have to do better, we have to tell other Black men that I'm weak in this area. It's okay. Because what we show is the facade of, most men real talk cry in the car. I'm just being honest. We cry in the car. We go behind closed doors.
Facts.
We cry in the car. But by the time we walk to the door and our family sees, we gotta, because we want to show them I'm Superman. But you really got kryptonite, bro. And when we raise this next generation, we gotta tell them it's okay, man. Let that out. So we again breaking generational curses, even with the kids that we deal with ourselves. I'll leave it at that, bro.
All right. I don't have to cough this time, but any final thoughts?
Sir,
What am I supposed to say after that?
what you want me to which of them 15, 25 points do you want me to respond to? Because my word, okay, y'all is talking and preaching today. I mean, like, I might as well just sit back and turn my camera off and turn the mute on because y'all saying what needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody you done made 15 points. You done made 15 points. Like, damn.
You made 15 too.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate it.
I was trying to see if she had a 16.
Real talk, like the having to learn how to respect yourself, be courteous to yourself. That's crazy to think about, right? Because we always like, oh, we don't let nobody disrespect us, this, that, and the third. But respecting and being courteous to yourself is definitely something that I've had to relearn in my older years. And if that is, yeah, you may want me to go do this, that, and the third. I feel you. However, I ain't gonna be able to make it. Family wants you to do this, that, and the third. I feel you. However, I ain't gonna be able to do that. And that's okay. And I think that, I mean, again, with all the points that y'all have made, the one that I can speak to for sure, is being able to recalibrate your thinking and put yourself first. It's like, truly, if you're not good, ain't no way that anything else is going to prosper or work or what have you. So yeah, that's the season that I'm truly in, is that 4 hours. I might have to double it. I may need 8, 20, 12, 16, 16 of myself, just to make sure I really got it. But no, that's crazy. That's wild. Now, what else was I supposed to hit on?
That was enough. Stop comparing. Stop comparing.
But you see, I feel you're right. That's my problem.
Because you good enough. Maya, like, man, you good enough. And real talk, I know you said earlier, you was like, man, I'm not close to the dance world. But your opinion matters to the dance world too, though.
Absolutely.
We be talking about that too, offline. Bro, might be tripping, dog. She better get up out there. You need to get up.
I'm gonna bring an online conversation. I mean, an offline conversation online, because I want Maya to really understand this. Do you know why? Maya has a show on here?
Tell her why.
Because her opinion matters.
Hey,
and I told her specifically. I told her personally. I was like, you're like super dope, and people hold on to and value what you say. And she has on her show, she has specific followers that will come on her show and be like, Maya the GOAT, Maya this, I remember Maya back in the day, Maya this. I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you right now, if ain't nobody gonna speak life into you, I will. And I know Quan will too. We will, because we see the greatness in you.
I'm gonna just say it like this. In the words of Pimp C, get up off that chrome stuff. It's a bread truck over here. I'm gonna leave it at that. Rest in peace, Pimp C.
I hate it here. But no, like that's facts though, right? And kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, I continue to tread this. What city is that's in both of them? Texarkana. I'm in Texarkana with it. Okay, 1 foot is in Texas, 1 foot is in Arkansas, right? A humble person doesn't speak of their humility, but also being able to be like, okay, like, nah, you did do this, right? There are certain things that you did do or that you should, whatever. A very close friend of mine, and I can say close friend, even though we don't talk as much these days, but a very close childhood friend of mine reached out to me the other day, randomly, sent me a video of some recent former Foxes and was like, they dance like this because of you. could have cried. Actually, I did cry. I ain't even gonna bull with you. I did because I'm like, bro, like it's
I
those
know.
types of things, and it's out of nowhere where people give you your flowers, but it's like, damn, like I feel you. However, it's like, oh, like girl, like now why you had to go there with it? You know why you had to say that? But then it's like, I don't know why I brought that up, but I appreciate, of course, I appreciate it, and I'm trying to figure out how do I get to a point where I'm better okay with accepting flowers and accepting compliments, but I'm just being honest with you. It's just it's hard for me because I think like look at what you were saying and Quan what you were saying too. Like no matter what what you get to, it's kind of like we pass go, we don't collect our $200, we're trying to get to the next thing, right? We don't take the time to bask in the level that we got to, the improvements that we made, the changes that we endeavored, or whatever the case may be. And that's hard. That's hard. And I want to get to a place to where I can slow down. Well, not even slow down, where I can stop. I can stop and say, okay, this is fine. This feels good. This happened. I did this. I changed. I made a way out of no way, this, that, and the third, and that's okay. And now let's go to the next thing. But yeah, thanks, friends.
Virtual
I,
hugs all around.
I appreciate you.
All right. We getting down to the last topic. I saw that Crystal was backstage and so was Simon. So once we give out, I told you his name ain't Justin no more. So once we give out this last topic, I'll repost the link to come back in if you want to come in and chat with us. But also, it is pinned inside of the YouTube chat. So let's go ahead and do this. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like daddy. Now we having real combos in here right now. Everybody's getting real. We letting out some personal things and all that kind of stuff. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, here we go. Here's the last one. Does fear... Oh, I didn't write that right. But I'll say it and I'll retype it. Does fear of change or... Oh, yeah, I said it right. Does fear of not being open to change hold us back as a culture? And I'm specifically talking about band, but if you want to go any route you want, you can. But I'm specifically talking about band. So does fear of not being open to change hold us back as a culture? Maya, go ahead.
Yeah. For me, it's open to change, but that open to change to me is the change is going back to what was, right? So it's kind of like changing in reverse. The fear of not valuing the things that made our band culture to begin with, the things that made us feel alive, the things that attracted us to why we love band, and getting back to that point to where we value stands and blastisimo and this, that, and the third over intonation and you know what I'm saying, all these different things. I fear, yes, I think that it does hold us back as a culture, if we're just talking about band specifically. You know, okay, so this is a little off, right? Y'all remember Ricky Smiley Open Casket Sharp when he did Big Pookie, okay, and he did the difference between HBCU bands and this, you know what I'm saying? I watched that the other day and I was like, bruh, this is what we grew up on. This is what we should be talking about. This is what made us us. Now we, you know, trying to outplay the next person and overshine and outbrew and boo boo ba doo doo and all that. Anyways, that was just my little whatever.
One of my favorite stand-ups, by the way.
It's so good. It's so good. I was head back exactly. He got in that stand. He got out in the stands with that cigarette. Yeah, y'all go watch it.
Scoot over, scoot over, scoot over.
Exactly, exactly. I watched that 2 days ago.
Sorry,
Well, yeah,
man.
I don't know if that answers your question, but that's just immediately what my mind thought of. To be able to, they say history repeats itself, and I'm waiting for band culture, true black band culture, to repeat itself with a new spin on it, I guess. But yeah,
I can say that I'm not well versed on that Ricky Smiley.
go look at it. It'll
What
change your life.
Yeah, it's funny.
Open
I want to
casket
say,
sharp. It's on YouTube. It may be a little fuzzy. Okay, it ain't gonna be the best quality.
well, I mean, I seen the clip of, he was talking about the difference between the black band and the white band, but not the whole
Go watch the
segment.
whole thing.
Yeah, it's funny, bro.
One of my favorite stand-ups is "Killing Me Softly" by Dave Chappelle. So, but
That's good, but it's more Southern comedy, but we're Ricky Smiley, of course.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Quan, does fear of not being able to or not being open to change hold us back as a culture?
Absolutely, I believe if it's not growing, it's dead. If you're not evolving, you're dead. I believe that with my whole heart. In regards of our culture, let's be honest. If we're gonna be fair, if you close your eyes and like Dr. Sanford say, and listen to a band, it's like which one is which, right? Um, we all was excited, regardless if you like Texas Southern or not. We was all excited about the diversity of the book that they had this past year, and we were excited about it is because for the last, let's say, 5-6 years, it's been more about rap tunes. When we came up, the zero quarter was about marches, scales, like it was like, let me show you my musicianship, right? There were bands that played jazz tunes. I remember was it I forgot the piece. What I think it was Toccata, but NCAT used to play was it the Fugue? It was something like that. It was one of those pieces that they played back in the day. But it was a diverse book. Prairie View played Giant Steps, all blues. There was diversity in every band that you knew that was that band. You know, I'm being honest. I hate that everybody plays neck now. I feel like they should really retire neck, and the only people that really should play neck is Southern. Give it to them and possibly like UAPB because theirs is different, right? Um, but there's not really diverse selection uh anymore in the stands. I get rap tune. You got to play what's on the radio, cool. But what's going to push you to the next level now? And I know Maya, you say about bragging on yourself. It's gonna be us. It's gonna be me. The conversation that me and Luke have, our book gonna be so diverse. They're gonna be like, bro, what are they like? What are they doing? Because we just want to be different. And I think we're finally starting, as music educators, are starting to be like, I'm gonna go against the grain on purpose. I think honestly, that's what we really need. Um, Going back to drills, they the same. They the same. I have patterns of motions on my shelf right here. There's another book. I can't see if I can find it or not, but it's called the complete manual and resource for marching band. The first 2 chapters is patterns of motion. That's what HBCUs have been doing for 40 years. Hot dogs, pinwheels, step 2, slants. That's fine. But when is the next level? Like, yeah, we kind of were overwhelmed by NCAT, you know, at the not Cracker Barrel, the Pepsi one. But at least it was different. They were the most different band there. When are we going to get back to having our own identity? And until we are able to see that, it's going to be the same.
And I think, bear with me because I think I got a sneeze coming in. But I think that both of you are saying some real stuff. One of the things that I think about is most people fear change because everybody wants to be the it factor. Everybody wants to be, and I said this earlier, everybody wants to be the person who's getting the comments and the likes and all that kind of stuff. We're afraid to be different. Like you said, you can give love to NCAT because they were different at that national battle. They were. I mean, regardless of how you slice it, whether you liked it or you didn't like it, they were different. And honestly, it kind of gave you a reason to watch them because they were different. Now, whether you liked it or not, that's a personal preference. But I know that I wasn't seeing the step two. So, you know, I did an experiment with my kids, my former students, when I was at Madison. And I showed them, I think it was an 80s video of, I think it was Southern. And then I turned around and I showed them, I think it was a 2019 video or 2018 video. And I asked them, I said, what's the difference? And they said, the camera quality is better. And they were like, I said, okay, obviously the camera quality is better, but what else was different? And they couldn't pinpoint anything that was different. And from a traditional standpoint, you know, the drum major coming out doing the back band, I think that, that's fine. But I think that more or less they were specifically looking at the drill. We've been doing the same drills, and this is not a Southern thing. This is a we thing. Been doing the same drill since God knows when. But I think that we fear it because we don't want to be the people that are looked at funny. Just imagine if Jackson went out there and just did something completely different. No Tiger run on, no downfield, no JSU. They did a completely themed show from top to bottom.
Did the Bruno Mars one?
But see, we said that before, right? So like the one part of it, we're scared to change because it hasn't been validated yet. You know, it ain't been stamped with approval yet. But like you said, what if JSU does do that? Then what happens? It slowly starts to open the door for something to happen, right? It takes a big name for something to say, ooh, okay, well maybe we can do this. Or ooh, that worked for them. Maybe it'll work for us. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll get us some views or what have you. Or they'll put our name in the conversations with the big four, big whomever. And so now it's deemed acceptable and now it's okay to try. But and we said this, I don't know how many shows back. It's not until somebody, unfortunately, one of them ones, do a little something different that we're gonna remain in the same construct that we're in.
Unfortunately, bro, it's gonna have to be one of the power 4, power 5 HBCUs that do something different for it to be acceptable by the masses. That is, in the words of Tupac, that's just the way it is. things will never be the same. Like that's just what it is, bro. Yeah, that's just what it is, and it's unfortunate because we have some of these programs have cult followings, you know, to where again, because I'm a student of this, many people think they started it when he didn't, you know. So I'm just saying, bro, it's just what it is. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring our first person in. You know, she family. So let's bring Crystal on in. What's going on, Crystal?
Yay.
You mute.
You
You
mute?
muted. Still can't hear you.
Still muted. Try again. You know how it is. You might have to go back and come back in. Go out and come back in.
It's like resetting.
Right?
It's like blowing into the Nintendo game. Take it out, blow it, and put it back.
Speaking of which, and this is kind of off topic, but my son is playing Super Nintendo now. I mean, he has a Switch, but he's on the Nintendo 64 and the Super Nintendo as well. So he just started playing the Super Nintendo, and we were playing Mortal Kombat, and I was about to put it in, and he said, "Daddy, I blew in it." I was like, "Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Look at that. You know the tricks of the trade."
Hey, bro, I had bought my godson. It looked like a Super Nintendo, but it basically was an emulator. Man, it had 888 games built in. Original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So maybe I shouldn't put this out there, but I don't really care because it didn't happen anyway. I was trying to. I have my original Super Nintendo, the one that I had back in, I think it was 93, 94. I still have that one when I first got Street Fighter. Back when, and I got to tell the story, back when the Jackson American Dream had first dropped and they were showing it in parts on different days. I got that Super Nintendo. And I still have my original cartridges. So I was looking up to see if it was possible to be able to convert one of my games into a emulator so that I can play it on the actual Super Nintendo, but it didn't happen. So I might have to get one of them emulator daddies. So Smiths. Let's try bringing Crystal in again. I know that was an unnecessary story, but kind of gave it some time. So Crystal, see if she can work. Let's see.
Y'all hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Let me tell you how I hate this damn iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone trash.
It's trash. I'm gonna say it publicly. Matter of fact, it's still trying to connect. Dumb iPhone. Hold on, let me close.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
It turn off. This thing is the board. It won't even turn off. It's like, no, you won't turn me off. Not today. Damn, I hate iPhones. The only reason I have it is for the state. I promise y'all. If it wasn't that, I would throw this thing in Lake.
That would be
Lake Lanier.
Very smart decision. iPhone trash.
Listen. Hey, what's up, fam? One, like I missed part of this conversation. My phone been ringing off the hook. We talk offline. Today. Woo, baby. Anyway, recenter myself. So we was talking about social media, and I wanted to kind of cycle back because I was waiting for a little bit to talk about that. A lot of the reason why I started to do stuff in social media wasn't that I was a new band director. I probably was a band director for almost 10 years before I started posting social media. And the reason I started posting things for my class on social media is kind of like what you was talking about, Luke. Like people was like, Crystal, you shouldn't be struggling with your program. Like, cause you're doing like some next level stuff, especially with technology. And I kind of figured like this is something that I believe. I used to believe that you could just close your door and do the work. And you should close your door and do the work. But then somebody told me, a friend of mine said, well, Crystal, you know, if there's resources outside your door and your door is closed, how are you going to get them? I had no answer. Like, I kid you not, somebody for real asked me that. And I said, well, How can I get instruments for my students? Who knows? I live in Baltimore. Everybody know that. Who knows what am I doing if my door is closed? Now, I'm not from a who's who area. I'm not. And as soon as I opened my door, I think the first thing I did is I posted a fundraiser on social media for instruments. And like all I did was post a little bit of me teaching and people responded. Like people sent me instruments from like out the state. And I was like, man, you mean to tell me I could have stopped swiping my credit card years ago and just asked? And what I realized is that this social media thing is not going to go away. It's not. It's not going to go away. And it's just like the phone, smartphone, and the TV and everything else. It's a tool. And if you don't use this tool, you'll find yourself struggling in things that you don't have to. That doesn't cancel work. That doesn't cancel studying. That doesn't cancel grinding. But I had done all that and still was struggling to get a box of reeds. I was still, for real. And a lot of people who have ever taught in the trenches, you know what I mean? You struggling. And so I realized that not just me not putting anything about my program out there, I didn't put me out there. And I thought I was doing a disservice by being a personality that I very much am. I'm very much introverted. When I'm not a band director, I'm goofy and chilling in my house. I don't even want to leave my house. But what I learned is that if my personality was behind that door too, the Bible says no one listens to a poor man. That's a mistranslation. Nobody listens to somebody without influence. And so when you were talking, Luke, just now about it's got to be a big Power 4 school, that's the fact of the matter. If someone wants to do something innovative, it has to be someone in the limelight, because it doesn't get respected the same way that if Southern University plays this song. And it actually opens the doors for others to be comfortable to do it. That's why I really believe in putting big demand on people with a platform. Really, really. You should question, you should ask, what are you doing with this? Because to be honest, if you don't, then, we have this crabs in a barrel attitude about people with platforms. Why they doing this? Why they going live? We don't know why they going live. Why they capping? And to be quite honest, people aren't honest with themselves. A lot of times what people criticize, they actually wish they could do themselves, and they don't know how, they're afraid to do it, or they think they should get it without just as much work. They don't know how much work it is to run a podcast. I know now. They don't know how much work it is. Justin in here talking about preach. It is to get a good shot of a moving ensemble and put it in public display to be critiqued. And guess what? When you are in that limelight, you're going to get critiqued. I'm getting critiqued today, and it's cool. People going to say that you got these intentions, that intentions, but at the end of the day, your character speaks above that social media persona. If I'm not the same person when you meet me in public, then you should call me on it. If I sit in your house and you like, you know what? How Crystal comes across to me from the screen is actually how she comes across to me in my house. Then social media isn't a persona. It's just literally a mirror into the person you're looking at. I can't say that's the same for everybody. And guess what? Even if it's not the same, not my right to judge it. Whatever you're trying to do to make the best you, whatever, do you, boo. Whatever way you need to do it. The only time I have an issue is if it is meant to intentionally harm someone else. That's on mothers. See, I did it. Did it. Write that down. On mothers. Unless it is intentionally to harm someone else, I don't care. Now, the problem is we have an issue with the word critique. We are only able to take critique from people that we idolize. We can't take critique from somebody that we think is beneath us. We can't take reproach from someone who we think don't deserve to be in that space, because really that's a covetous spirit. You're not mad at their persona. You're mad that you don't have it. You're mad that you don't have their platform. And truth be told, I even had to check myself with that. And so, you know what? If this is how you are going to get what you need, be best and have at it. Don't hurt nobody along the way. But why social media can be a good thing and a bad thing, we can take one thing and it can reach millions and bring instruments to the hands of people who need it. And in the same time, destroy somebody who's doing the work. The problem is, instead of having those moments where you let me see how they are in public, we have taken the television person and said, this is what I judge. I tell anybody, invite me in your house. You'll see exactly how I'm gonna act. I'm gonna play with your dog. I'm gonna play with your kids. I'm gonna help clean up the kitchen. If I don't match that person, fine, call me on it, because I put myself in that platform. And that was my prayer when I first started doing this, is I said, Crystal, if you're gonna do this, you gotta be real. Crystal, if you do this, you gotta be willing to be judged and not clap back, because it just makes you look just as crazy. Look, inbox dinging. Ding on, baby. If you call me in your house, you're going to get the same person. Unless I don't like you, then I ain't coming. Real talk. Social media done, well, one, little science. Social media and these likes, they hit dopamine in us. They spark
I
the
agree.
same response that you get when you are high. Those of you who have partake, I ain't a saint. Those of you who have ever had that good feeling. That's why being a band director is like being a drug, because when you get applause, dopamine. Social media does the same thing. We like likes because chemically it makes us feel better. Just the same, when we get negative interactions, it makes us feel like shit. Unless you're a strong person. I'm aspiring to be that type of person. I ain't there yet. But the reason why people are struggling with the social media thing so much is they don't understand the good and the bad that it can cause. And they don't take on that weight when they use it. They don't take it on because that requires work too. Work on you. You got to be real transparent with yourself with social media. That's what I got to say, y'all.
I can want to definitely say that you dropped some jewels. Absolutely. I mean, being very open and transparent, just having this show and letting some of my truth out is difficult, you know. And the truth of the matter is, people are going to judge you on it. I mean, and it is what it is. But you know, at the end of the day, like you said, it's a tool. It can be used for good. It can be used for good, or it can be used for bad. And even sometimes when you trying to do good, it can still be turned to bad. So no, I agree 100%. There was nothing that you said that I can disagree with at all.
I'm just gonna keep saying I thank you for giving me the platform. I ain't bully my way into it. I think it's funny that you even asked to this date. That's like, man, you want me? I barely passed speech class. I ain't even gonna lie. I say that publicly. I was in speech class, like I say a lot. My speech teacher told me something very profound. He said it's not how it comes out, but the intent and the meaning in what you said. And I never felt bad about talking again. So y'all gonna get these ums
I don't mind your ums. I think we all do it. I definitely do it. Heck, I was on the radio and I was hitting them daddies every now and then. So it is what it is. You'll live. You'll make it through. I can't even laugh right now. I'm coughing in my laugh. Jesus Christ.
Oh Lord, you need some tussin. Do they still sell tussin?
Yes,
Don't
they do.
laugh, Quan. Do they still sell? Is tussin like a real thing still?
Yeah, Tussin is still real. Tussin,
You
I
need
don't
some BC.
Is
know.
Tussin and Robitussin the same?
No, they're two different things.
No,
Oh,
Maya,
my
they are
age
not the
talking.
same.
My age talking. Bye, y'all. Bye, bye.
I
Tussin.
I thought Tussin was Robitussin.
Tight.
Oh
It is
Lord.
things.
No, they two different things. One literally says tussin.
Yeah. I think it's TUSSIN.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And then you have
Tussin.
Robitussin, just like you got Tussie, the deodorant.
I knew that part.
Okay. So at least you knew that was different. But yeah, Tussin and Robitussin is two totally different things. I didn't had
Well,
Tussin.
see, where I'm from, people put an onion in your sock until you go to bed. Or do some
Well,
other stuff.
Yeah, we do all that.
when you got a fever, that's what you're supposed to do. Because if I had a fever right now, I'm pretty sure I would have onion in my sock tonight. But as
Or
of right
potato.
now, I ain't heard.
Okay.
I ain't gonna pick the
We got
potato.
Yeah.
that Vicks vapor rub right here, so you can.
Oh
so you,
man, that stuff look like you done snotted all over yourself.
yeah, but you can
Thank
breathe.
you.
You can breathe though.
And
You can
besides,
breathe.
we can spare onions. I don't want to spare my potatoes. I got fries and mashed potatoes. I want to make with that. Them onions. If I ain't got no onions, I can just throw some onion powder in. I ain't got
Bro, all you need to do is go drink you a ginger ale and lay down. Make sure you lay down.
It depends on what it is. But I mean, like I said, I've been laying down all day. So
Did you drink ginger ale?
no, I just feel
No,
myself.
listen, Quan, it's a
Vitamin
specific
C.
type of ginger. Now, one, you said it wrong. It's ginger ale. It's one word. It's one word. It's not that you got too many syllables, brother.
It depends on your region, but go ahead.
It's ginger ale. You got had to yell L at the end. And it gotta be now what brand?
I was gonna say
Canada
Canada
Dry.
Dry. Sweat.
I
Dry.
was about to say
Canada
what
Dry.
brand? Yeah,
Canada
it's gotta be
Dry.
Canada Dry. Don't you come in here with that. What's that? C
Seagram.
Sweat, sweet, something like that.
That ain't doing nothing.
I'm gonna put
It's
it.
gotta be so spicy that you think it's got pepper in it. It's gotta be real spicy and burn.
Let me tell you
If
something.
it don't burn, it ain't working.
That
So-
Canada Dry bowl is too much. Like the real Canada Dry, it's too much. It is too much.
I've had
Don't.
That joint tastes like battery acid.
Facts.
Oh damn.
Well,
It's too
all right.
strong.
I went to
It's like
school.
drinking turmeric in water.
I went to school with a bunch of Detroit people, so they put me on the Vernors. Now Vernors don't burn, but Vernors is really good. You ever put Vernors in ice cream? That's the best float you never had. Telling you, Vernors. I'm telling you, ginger ale, Vernors, ginger ale, and ice cream.
Now here we got
When
Rock
they
Creek.
told me that, when they told me that, I was like, "What? Go get you a Vernors."
But why?
The DMV got Rock Creek.
What? Why? Why put the ginger ale with the? Is
It's
it
like a
a
root beer float.
ginger
It's a
ale
float.
float?
It's like a root beer float.
Or like sherbet, like down
Gotta
here.
have
You know,
me
we
in
do
that
sherbet.
ER, 'cause
Right.
what? Whose stomach is taking that?
Like, you know how we do sherbet down here? You get the ice cream and you put the ginger ale.
No,
I'm
Ginger
telling you.
ale. Oh, it's all with okay. Oh, with the now you should have said sherbet and ice cream.
Yeah,
Totally
sherbet is fire. Sherbet is fire.
Now that sherbet with the
Sherbet is
We didn't went all the way and left.
we done get we all the way off the path. We all the way off the path. Lord
Well,
help us.
I want to get Simon in here, and then we ain't even spoke to Portia yet.
Oh
Portia,
damn, yeah, Portia. I was like, is Portia here?
she here. She came in late. You know, she had business, and we love her because she had that business. She just rolled them to the crib.
Lord, I gotta get off this thing. I got so much. Oh God, I'm so behind.
Well,
I ain't even put this syllabus together yet.
Oh yeah, you got to take care of that.
I don't need. I'm teaching French horn. It's brass methods. It's brass methods. We separate trombone and French horn because people don't be starting kids on French horn. They be starting on mellophone. That's a whole live by itself. Let's stop that.
Yeah, that's a whole All right, well, we love you, Chris.
Have a good one.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you.
Bye, Maya. Bye,
from
Portia for president.
Bye.
all right. We gonna get Simon in here, but before we get Simon, I just want to hear Portia say good morning. That's it, because I know she done pulled up to the crib. She gonna get out and then get in her little space and kind of set up before we shut down. See, I can't even hear now. Oh Lord, and the audio off. Oh Lord Jesus. See, she gonna have to go out and come back in anyway, yeah, because we can't even hear you. Yeah, just go ahead and get in your little desk, and then we'll bring you back. All right, Simon, let's come on in. Oh, there we go. All right, Simon, what's going on, bro?
What up, man? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh man, y'all podcasting tonight. Y'all speaking some. I said, God damn, I wish I could interject every time y'all hit a good topic. I maybe forget what I want to say. I gotta write this shit down. I'm gonna breeze through this and I won't say something that's so profound. So your first question was, I don't know your first question. I want you to tell me your first question out of this. If the future is unknown, what are you afraid of? Luke, I was in the car listening to like this boy preaching. Where it come from? I I just think the answer is simply the possibility of. We're afraid of the possibility of thinking it may not work or like it may not work in our favor. So I would simply say that the answer to that is the possibility of, and we never think what if the possibility be good? What if it work out in your favor? But that's what we're afraid of because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? I simply think the answer to that, in my opinion, is the possibility of. The second question you was like,
But that's the thing, right? Who determines that possibility?
exactly. So we all looking like we're crazy. You know, so we scared of nothing. You sit up here scared of possibly being the better yourself. You know what I'm saying? You so worried about failing that you know what I'm saying? I think we all deal with that in some shape or form. Like when I graduated college, I worked in corporate America for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of going to get coffees and wearing suits and shit every day and putting on the face. You know what I'm saying? I had my little cubicle. I wanted to play future. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't do that here. So I took a chance and like, you know what I'm saying? Let me go back home, teach a little bit, and start something else. You know what I'm saying? I look at me today. You know what I'm saying? So I thought corporate America was all I was gonna have to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, he's like, what makes social media what makes social acceptance such a major issue? Luke, I hate to say it this way, but in the world that we live in today, it's like for the most part, being accepted socially can can make you benefit, whether it's getting a job because of your popularity, or or the voice that you have socially can get you further. Because if you're not accepted socially, it's very hard to get further in a space where being socially accepted matters. And that's what the like we look at the band world, that's kind of what it's becoming like or just anything like how often you find people that stand on what they believe in, no matter what, getting too far in life. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring it to band. How you always just talking about how in order for something to change, the big four got to do it. You know what I'm saying? One of the big five got to do it. Versus somebody who stands true to what they do, and if they do it, they're not gonna get respected because they don't have the social presence that the big four or five do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not
But
saying it's everything.
while I agree with you, I also think that is a problem amongst directors, right? Because let's be real, Dr. Sanford came on last night and he said that he wanted to make the Legion different. He had the conversation with the directors, and he said that when you hear Norfolk, you were going to hear something different. But the other half of that is Dr. Sanford also had great relationships with a lot of other people. So the level of respect of something being different was open for everybody. But I think that what happens nowadays is just a little different on the strength of how many directors do you know? And I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know. That's why I'm more or less asking you, because you communicate with a lot more people. How many directors do you know who are open to saying they're doing something different? Let's respect them for what they do. Let's show love for what they do, versus when we get on the cameras and all that kind of stuff, when the lights are on, it's kind of like F them dudes. And I'm not saying that they're saying that, but the energy that is exuded when you see that is like that. So the perception becomes, if they do something different, it's not going to be accepted because the directors are giving that energy off.
You don't think Dr. Sanford was one of the socially accepted people that we talk about, and his program got accepted simply because of his voice. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, like it's okay for him to do that because he well respected. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna look at like, oh, look what he's doing over there. It's okay to be different. He's like we need more of that. If you ask me, like uh, he not know anybody that just started a program to be different. He has a track record of being at different places that was popping at the point. You know what I'm saying? He graduated from a good, well, a popular institution. So he's one of the people that we speak of that we may possibly need to create the difference for it to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Lil Wayne do it, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody else do it, it's not. I don't think that kind of apply to him. You know what I'm saying? Because
but I get what you're saying. I just think that it still has to do with what is presented to the masses when he steps outside, the conversations that they have behind closed doors, the way that they show respect amongst each other when they were in the limelight. So a lot of people would say typically that the Legion was friendly. I don't know where that came from, but hey, whatever.
friendly.
I'm just saying that's what people.
Hold on. I ain't letting that. Who said that?
Portia, you know, back when everybody was like, y'all the friend. Remember, we the safe haven, right? So my point that I'm trying to make
What? We know what Legion. I told, like I said, it's a myth, but the myth that we hear, they kick ass.
but
Y'all know them. Yeah.
I'm not talking. Listen, all I'm saying is
Run for the topic, nothing.
We getting off the topic. All
Okay,
I'm
go ahead,
saying
go
is we weren't. It wasn't.
Podcast. Oh Lord, hey y'all. I'm at the pause.
Dear Simon, happy birthday to you.
To you.
Yeah, say we got it. We got in on it too. See, but no, I think that
Hello.
people will think that we were friendly. It wasn't that we were friendly. It was just the fact that our directors taught us to have a level of respect with the people who were across the field from us. Yeah, our mindset was we gonna kill an ant with a sledgehammer. But when it was all said and done, we could go up to them and was like, "Hey, good show." Or when we were on the track, sometimes when they would come down, sometimes we were like, "Hey man, have a good show." We would have that conversation sometimes. Now, you know, Six don't do that because they be locked up. But when we get on the side of the track and get ready to line up, it's been a plenty of times where we turn and be like, "Hey man, good show," blah blah blah, whatever. That's not the energy that's exuded now from what we're able to see with our own perception, because the energy that's given off is F them, they trash, they don't sound good. It's never, hey man, y'all sounded good, y'all was killing. There's never that you know, that level of camaraderie. And so that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna just agree. I don't disagree with you saying because you know verbatim. I just only know from what I see and what I understand and what the problem could be, or what the solution may could be, which lead me to a point that I'm gonna make at the end. The last thing I know, I don't know where all y'all. There was a point which I was talking about it. Like I guess you was like accepting a compliment from your friend is whatever versus you want to accept it from social media and stuff like that kind of want to be socially accepted. I just think that sometimes sometimes we doubt ourselves knowing that we better. You ever looked at an arrangement or something that you do in your field and see everybody praising it and you was like, you could have done that in your sleep? You know what I'm saying? I just think that you fear of being that big. And that's one of y'all said something, I don't know if it was Crystal. You was like, people see what you do and they act like they support you, but they really want your spot in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where that came, but y'all mentioned that hit home to me a couple times, especially in this band space. Like I was telling you the incident I had at Midwest about the comment was made like, "What you doing here?" But it's kind of cool to like, I'm cool to record your band, but not a bit, but whatever. This past weekend at the Battle of the Bands, you know what I'm saying? It's like I had a moment of reflection. I have it all the time because I'm a band head and I'm like a band fan of this. You know what I'm saying? Like when I want to bust with like a band or A&M or something, in the back of my head, it's still like oh, I'm with A&M. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm with Southern. Like, it's still that big to me, which and vice versa. I know for sure, but I'm like, damn, you got smash time with us. You know what I'm saying? Or like when I go to that damn Battle of the Band, I got to stop and take 35 pictures with the kids because, you know what I'm saying? They watch it, listen to everybody's story about how they watch the videos and like, you don't understand the influence that you have. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you don't understand the influence that you can have. Like here you go thinking you're doing something good and you're not doing enough, but to somebody else, that's everything. You know what I'm saying? Or like even me to this day, I sit back and look at people like my videos. I'm like, damn, I missed that shit. That shit could be better. You know what I'm saying? Or like this could be better. And then like what comes along with that success is stuff that you can't control. Like I could get on the internet, but I'm glad I'm transparent. But I can get on the internet and say, I don't think Southern sounds good today. You know what I'm saying? I don't think A&M sounds good today. I don't think State sounds good today. But also knowing that band director can literally call my phone after he watched that video and be like, "Damn, that's how you felt." You know what I'm saying? And not have to like run from what I said because they got that much respect. Or like they could call me and ask me, "What you think about this idea for the upcoming season?" and literally value my opinion. So I guess it comes from like what someone bring back to Maya about like tooting your own horn. That moment you had Maya when they gave you that call, you like they do this because of you. Sometimes I told myself this year I'm gonna start patting my own self on the back. You know what I'm saying? I don't do it. But like, man, that video fire, that was gangster, man. You did this at a third, and I never sit back and like, damn, I did do that, huh? You know what I'm saying? Or like, and I wouldn't have did that if I didn't give myself that chance. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, Luke, them arrangements Juan was showing me in fucking Chicago. I'm like, Luke wrote this? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you not like in the space where you need to be? I don't know if it's a fear of, but it's coming from somebody who took a chance on doing something that I didn't know it was gonna be this damn big, but I know, you know what I'm saying, that is I have a long way to go. I think you can't be afraid to take that chance because when you take that chance, you can become one of the people that can provoke change, like we're talking about the big four need to be. You know what I'm saying? One thing I know is about what I'm starting to do lately, and I hate that it's like this, but it's a gift and a curse from social media. Somebody else posted it's cool. I posted, oh my God, you seen that? I hate it. You know what I'm saying? I hate it like, damn, why it took for me to post this and put it this way for y'all to see that they actually good. You know what I'm saying? Like watching it with the Dancing Divas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all I really did was just gave them like a crazy limelight. It's just more, and everybody, oh my God, they're the best of their life. It sucks, but you need to not be afraid of the successful person you can be. I don't know how that correlated, but I kind of like, I got that from when I was driving in the car to get it. But all y'all felt like, dang, Maya, I don't know if you're still into dance, you need to be up in it. Your voice matter. Luke, you write them arrangements over there, you need to be selling them to somebody or like, just posting them or something. But I just feel like we don't need the big four all the time to provoke change. You never know. I ain't saying we don't need them, but you can be that person, but people don't even see it within themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I got there, but that was on my mind to say because I'm kind of living it, and I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I think somebody can hear this. Yeah, that's my time.
I don't disagree with you in the fact that because I personally don't feel like we need the I guess it's 4. Is it 4?
4 or 5. We understand what we mean. We understand what you're talking about.
Got you. I personally feel like we don't need them, but I also feel like the truth of the matter is that we also, I don't know. I think there's two sides to it. I think that as the cult following, I think the cult following makes it worse because if anybody does step out and do something different, the cult following will be the ones who are like, hey, this is trash. This ain't, because like think about it. Have you ever went to somebody else's video and then be like, well, if Southern played it, it would be blah 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 blah. Be like, this video ain't even about Southern, so it ain't got no parts of Southern in it. They ain't playing Southern. You know what I'm saying? Or if somebody plays a song and they be like, well, Jackson played it better, but like this ain't.
You know what, Lou? I'm gonna get to you. What make that cult follow? Like, what you think make that cult follow?
I mean, I think it's a lot of things, right? So, and I'll say it like this: there's a lot of people from Louisiana who just like Southern because it's the school of choice in the state for the most part. If you from New Orleans, but you ain't never, if you or Baton Rouge, but you ain't never went to Southern, but you gonna be a Southern fan, I think there's a lot of that happening. You know, I think there's that. I think that the level of your social media content plays a part in it. I mean, think about when Garrett and really started taking over and really killing the game. That's when, in my personal opinion, Southern really blew up from a social media standpoint. You know, I think they always had their fans there, but I think that they were introduced to a new level of fans because of how the social media was presented. So I think there's that. I think alumni play a big part in it. You know,
I'm glad you said that. That's why I'm going at because I
Brother
feel
Moore
like
is in here, and he's an alumnus, and he rides hard for Southern. And while you know he you know he has great conversations, he has great things to say and great information to give. You know, a lot of his experience always dates back to his experience that he had at Southern. I mean, it is what it is. I think there's a lot to that too, because you look at a Norfolk person, and I can only and I'll speak for Norfolk because I am a Norfolk. Well, I'm from Houston, but you know I'm a Norfolk person. Honestly, we're not boastful like that. You know, unless somebody is actually coming towards
Unless somebody tried,
right. You know what I'm
then
saying?
I'm gonna come for your neck.
Right. We just because we know the level of talent and the level of work ethic that we put out, and we don't gotta boast about it. We just be like, this is what we got. You gonna like it because it's dope. And that's where we stand. We don't gotta talk about it.
Because most of the time I'm in the back critiquing. That's me.
I mean, if you go back, oh, go ahead, Portia.
I'm thinking about what we could have done better at the end of the performance.
I mean, if you go back and you look at some of them old Norfolk videos, you know, some of them videos that I'm in, some of the ones that people post all the time, the one with the Dizzies in the street facing Howard, like I'm in that video. I'm one of the screamers in that video. I'm the one right in the middle. But I don't
say, yeah,
about it because
why not? You should. You have to, bro.
What's the point of that? What's the point of that? Like Dr. Sanford put the mentality when we was in the band is that your performance speak for itself. Don't be out here talking no mess. Don't be going back and forth with people. Your performance speak for itself. We wasn't built like that. At least in my opinion. Go ahead, Julian. But that's to me.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's no reason for me to sit there and brag on that. That's not me personality wise, but that's also not how we were brought to be in the Legion. We don't need to boast about it. You can see it right there. If you was across the field, you was getting that work, and we move on. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's to me, that's almost like the year that my last year at Prairie View was that year that Prairie View played on our own against UAPB. And that was when everybody was like, oh man, they need to keep playing that, blah, 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 blah. And I was, you know, I wrote it, but then I was like, all right, cool. Why do I don't need to go posting on Facebook on our own by Bobby Brown, written by blah, blah, blah. What I need to, you know.
I get the mentality, but we sitting up here talking about being socially accepted, right? And how that can get you so much further. Like I couldn't have been you and Luke. I could not. I'm sorry, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? But that video, the one in my guy we talking about that legendary video, I literally found myself in conversation 2 days ago. 2 days ago in Atlanta, talking about trumpets over there. They had that trumpet section, and that video came up again. But here we go, a person you started a whole damn passion in this network, this, that, and the third. Who the hell is Luke? Luke is that damn trumpet that was screaming in the middle of the street. See how he, for real? Now you got those people who are fan of that damn video, automatically become a fan of you. I get it. It's not, It's not always boasting and bragging, but if you that guy, you that guy. And because in the bad word, this is what we talk about. Of course, I'm pretty sure not too many people can step your way when it comes to flag. Maya, when it comes to dance, you can critique something because you probably can do it. You've been there before. Luke Trumpet, destroying that. So when people come to y'all, like, why not? It ain't even tooting your horn, but sometimes you have to let people know, like, I'm that guy, and it's okay. But it's okay to do it tastefully. But if you try to become further, like in this game, bro, like I don't never like you say I'm patting myself on the back. This shit. The best thing I like about the social media game in the band space, like I love watching 30 million camera people be at the event. I love it. I love because we got the young kid who I was when I first started. And they got the big dog who got way more subscribers than me. But I know one motherfucking thing. I come here to bust ass. I know for sure my shit gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying? I know that. You gotta I know because I'm that I'm that dude when it comes to that shit. You know what I'm saying? I never said that much, but I know it because you know it. Now we know. You know what I'm saying? That don't make me like saying I'm better than you, but it makes me say that, I'm just confident in what I'm doing. When people congratulate you on, you can't run from your success. Look at that. And it's kind of like, I ain't saying you are, but if I was the, I'm gonna start saying, I know these dudes in this video. And they probably could teach y'all kids better than whatever. And when I start saying something like that, like, who that is? Him who started the Passenger Network, or that one director at UConn, that's him right there. That's the dog right there. That's him right there back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So you can use it for to better your games to get further.
And you can see it's across the board because Sebring be chilling in the back.
Oh my God. Cool. Wouldn't even think he is here who he is. You know what I'm saying? Crack 1,000 jokes. Wait, you understand who you is though, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I get what y'all saying. Y'all wasn't raised like that because the proof is in the pudding. But when it comes down to being socially accepted, all we know in this space is what you did. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they say. Who are you? Are you different? But that's him. That's them right there. You can't talk to them different because they did it. They still knowing they can teach your kids how to do what they did. That's all I'm saying. Like, you got it's like your resume. Dude, you can't run from that. Y'all talk about them old Norfolk bands all damn day, but when it comes down time to make a game from that, Luke, I feel like I'm getting on your ass, but I'm not. I'm telling you, like, I'm not. I'm just telling you what you sitting on. This is your credentials. You can't look at that horn. Was that one of the horns in the video? I'm gonna troll a little bit now. That one horn back there, the video one that's on the wall back there. That one of them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, Luke.
But no, so there's two things I want to say. I think coming from where you're coming from, there's a level of confidence that you can have because of what you do. People are going to automatically be drawn to you because people want to see these things. And because you have, and you've done it in a way that is different from a lot of people, the quality of your video, how you do it, yours stands out above the rest. I mean, it just does, and that's no shot to any other videographers out there, because the truth of the matter is, if Southern and Jackson play, everybody wants to see that video, but your video is going to be different than a lot of other people's videos. So I think you can be boastful about it because people are going to naturally gravitate to the thing that they want to see. I think with coming from my perspective, it's a little different because so in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I can be completely wrong. I've always let the work speak for myself or speak for itself. I was about to say, Justin, you, Simon, being a person that knows me can speak for me when you go into those spaces. But what you're saying is I should get on here and say, yeah, remember when PV went to Honda and they played the Drew Hill song? That was me. Like, I don't need to do that. For me,
ain't saying you should say it, Luke. I'm not saying you should say it because I get what you're saying. I like people to speak for myself. I'm not gonna toot my own horn. I'm just saying it's damn sure okay to be like, oh yeah, that I'm saying, because people, if you say some wild stuff right now and be like, all the trumpets sucked last week at the Battle of the Bands, right? Let's just say you make that post or you snip that, how you get that. Let's just say you said that, right? First thing, be like, who the hell is this guy to say that? You know what I'm saying? He went to Norfolk or whatever.
but they won't
then
ask if they ask me, then I could tell them.
hold on, but here I go. Shit, y'all ain't who that is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to be booking him to help those troubles. Who he said, you know what I'm saying? It's like use, and I dealt with it too. You know what I'm saying? But it's time for people to. I ain't saying getting it just do, bro. But like in this new space of social media, you can be getting so much off of which all you have is what you've done in the past. You know what I'm saying? And I get people will speak for you, but sometimes I don't know. It's like I just hate to see that happen. I see it happen a lot. Like a lot of people don't get credit for a lot they do. Even when Mr. Sanford was on here talking tonight, I thought I knew. Shit, I didn't know this. I'm over here. He's speaking. I'm like, this could be a damn movie. I'm talking. We ain't talking about the racism. He never one time mentioned the racism back then. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he did all this in them damn time. You know what I'm saying? So like, he should be getting booked for the damn your band camp at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? He should be getting booked for just to speak or just to be in his presence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, bro. I just feel like I don't know. I see it happen all the time, and it's okay not to brag on yourself, but it's okay to I guess this is me. You know what I'm saying? I think we sometimes can be I ain't saying too humble, but like bro, like man, I'm sorry, it ain't me no more. I was that person, bro, but nah, I'm you don't got to because damn, I could not be somebody who knew how to teach that damn well or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to mark this shit out myself. Somebody need help with these trumpets. You know what I'm saying? Where they be fly me out to do this or teach this. You got a whole damn podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like you connected with Mr. Sanford. You know what I'm saying? You connected with who you ain't connected with. You gotta start thinking deep within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a person in this band gang that are like in your area that you can't get in touch with, that you can't that you just don't have connections to. And I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a lot. But Luke, I get it. You don't gotta toot your own horn. You don't worry about it. I'm gonna start to don't worry. I got you. See, like I said, I know these dudes is damn trumpet video. Y'all need some trumpet. Hey, yeah, I don't know the price is, but whatever. I got you. You know, when I brag too much, you know what I'm saying? I know you can brag it up. That's the beauty of it. When I'm bragging on somebody, I know for sure shit. Who you can explain that circle of fifth? I know you can. Don't worry about it. A lot of people really can't. I'm really just getting like, man, this how this go. And all these years, I ain't really understand. You know what I'm saying? I play trombone, but it's just a lot, bro. I just tired of people. This year, we getting who we were, y'all, and we not overworking. Last point, because I don't want to get off it. The social media changing thing. Are we, you know, what they say, does not being open to social media hold us back as culture? Yes, I think times change. We should adapt to change. All change ain't bad, but I think you should always be open to doing something more or doing something new at the time. Back in the day, when kids, we ain't trying to do it back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But we can learn from it and move forward. That's all I gotta say.
All right, bro. As always, when you come on, we definitely get a very good conversation going on, man. So I definitely appreciate all your thoughts, bro.
Gotcha, Doc. All right, Luke. I'll holler at you later. All right, push the next thing. All right.
All right, bro.
All right.
Portia, I feel like we ain't got no real energy from you. What's been going on?
Say I missed y'all. Like this is weird, but these people getting this work. Okay, I thought we were slowing down. We full speed ahead. Okay.
Ain't no slow down.
Oh my God, you ain't
Y'all,
lied to me. You
what y'all
ain't lied
performing what 2 weeks?
to me. Yeah, buddy.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that yesterday we made a decision that we would not be making it to Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was we had everything up ready to go, and then Camille brought it to my attention with the fact that you know I was trying to go to TMEA Atlanta and then a consortium.
Yeah, you're doing a lot. She said,
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So she said choose. So the level of importance had to be there, and there was one common denominator, and that was the battle of the band. So yeah, we ain't gonna make it, but I'm gonna be at Team A though. So there we go. I mean, I know y'all ain't gonna be there in total, but you know, but it is what it is though. I know that you kind of came in late, but the conversation today was talking about fear, and I just kind of want to get your perspective very quickly before we get out of here. And we had a lot of topics. Well, obviously we had 4 different topics, but I'll just throw one out there, and then you can just kind of go off of that, and then we'll close out after that. I just want to be able to get your thoughts on one of these. So, if the future is unknown, then what are we afraid of?
Failure in anything. You know, nobody wants to be known as not being good at something or declining in whatever their area is. Nobody wants to be worse than their predecessor or, worse each year. And I think I mentioned this before. Like I was, captain, and then I came back and I was assistant to Chanel or whatever. This was my first year by myself. I was terrified of letting down the legacy of the Silkettes. And I just had to have a conversation with myself after like the first 2 weeks of band camp. Like, you're in this position for a reason. You can't do it like nobody else. You got to make this you. And I think we've done well, but this year. But in the back of my mind, I still have the thought of there's so much rich history that you have to uphold. And while being innovative, while pushing the squad forward. So it's fear of not being good enough or not measuring up to whatever that is. And I think every band program, well, I'm not going to say every, I can't speak for everybody, the top whoever's, they own standard, I guess. But you don't want to, even now, we just left the Rose Bowl, smoked the whole thing. We get ready to go to Atlanta. You can't go down. Then it's, well, what happened to them? They was just, that's a fear. That's a thing, is not measuring up to your last performance or your last version of the band or your last version of whatever. Like, that is a thing. Like, we were in the bag for this show because we had thought about it and come up with it before, California, so we could hit the ground running. But now we have to kill it, because then we're being compared to the last performance. So I think the worst thing you can do is be measured against yourself. Other people are not really necessarily your biggest competition. It's your last performance, especially if it was really, really high quality, really, really at a next level. You have to match that, or what happened to them? What's going on with them? That was a fluke, So what are we afraid of? Not being good enough, being inadequate, not measuring up. So whatever that is. For some people, it may be another band program. I think for the Spartan Legion right now is what we did in California. So,
all right.
That's my 2 cents.
Oh Lord. I'm not saying oh Lord to what you said. I'm saying oh Lord because I had some little phlegm in there.
Oh my God, I hope you feel better.
Yeah, I do too. I'm telling you, once I shut down, I'm going back into bed.
I know that's right.
This ain't it. All right, man. Like I said, I just wanted to get your 2 cents and see where your thoughts are, and what you said is undeniable. Putting that pressure on yourself, it's real.
That's a thing.
Upholding your standards from your last performance. That's real. I can say the same thing about the Rockets because they just lost to the second worst team in the NBA. So they are officially the worst team in the NBA. I know that was random, but I mean, it still falls in line with what we talking about. Yeah, I'm kind of hurt by that too. Anyway, man, let's get ready to get on out of here because I need to go get into bed. I was told that I need to take some old people berry elderberry. If y'all don't know what I meant by that.
If you can find some tussin, you'll feel better tomorrow, for real. That joint is strong. It tastes like a foot, but it's strong.
Oh yeah, I've had Tustin before, and then my St. Croix people back, because back in Norfolk back in my day, we was full of St. Croix and St. Thomas people. They put me onto this joint called Buckley's. Boy, that Buckley's.
Oh,
Ooh,
no,
Lord.
bro.
That
I got to. This got to be Jesus, and this got to be me if I ever taste that again.
That's why. As soon as you put that Buckley's in you, woo, it's terrible. But I'm telling you, I hit that one day, and that next morning, shoot, I was ready to run. I didn't though, because I was a lot heavier. But I'm just saying though, I was ready to go. But no, man, this has been a super dope episode. You know how we do it before we get out of here. Maya, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, y'all said Buckley's. I had to Google it, and I must have been reading too fast because I thought it said coffin biracial syrup. This say coffin bronchial syrup. Which means it's time to go to bed.
Oh my God. Oh, child.
I said, now ain't no way, but this Buckley's, I'm gonna have to give me some Buckley's and Tussin. Okay, I need to put that.
Hold your nose, baby, and be
Yes.
close to a restroom.
That Buckley's.
Ooh. Really?
It clean you out, honey. It did me. I can't speak for nobody else.
Jesus. Okay. Well,
I'm telling you.
on
That's
that,
what put me on. But go ahead, Maya. I'm sorry.
no, you good. I hope you feel better, my friend. Well, yeah. See y'all. What? Tomorrow?
Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow. Oh
What?
yeah, you.
How you
Well,
feeling about tomorrow? You okay? You gonna be okay? Or y'all in?
See, practice is supposed to be over at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But that didn't quite work like that today. So let's just do regular time. I might just be a little late.
Okay.
And I'll try to tip on out.
Okay. Well then, yeah. Other than that, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
there you go. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
I'm ready for band season to be over. Okay. This has been, I call it the never ending season. Okay. I am looking forward to the show in Atlanta. I think it is going to be an awesome show, but I'm tired. And I ain't gonna get no break. We're gonna go straight into audition season, and it's that year. But I want it to be over. I do. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to be compared to next season, okay? Not continuing to be compared to this season. Oh, this is our last. Well, God, knock on some wood. This is our last performance. We will be performing at the funeral of Chief over on Friday, but yeah.
All right.
Justin, we getting that Thursday. Yeah, we'll be in Atlanta Thursday.
All right, Kwan. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture? Is Kwan still there? I think he left.
As my nephew used to say when he was young and couldn't say the word, he disappeared.
He just
disappeared. Mm-hmm. That's what he used to say.
All right. Well, Smith's daddy, Kwan, thank you. Send me a message or something, All right. Well, first thing I want to say before we get out of here is once again, rest in peace to Chief. Definitely a legend, not only just in the city of Norfolk and Virginia, but in the music education world. And we definitely lost a GOAT. But I will definitely say that he did a lot in his time, and he lived his life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Chief. If y'all don't know who Chief is, Emory L. Fears. All right. That's why I decided to go with the Legion stuff today and the Norfolk stuff. I got my green background. I did it for Chief. But yeah, so rest in peace to him. Today, I want to say that today is a super dope episode, man. I want to make sure that everybody conquer your fear. Conquer your fear. I definitely agree. Therapy, it definitely works. And we need to seek therapy. Surround yourself with the people who are going to truly support you in your best endeavors. And will give you the best advice. And sometimes and a lot of times you need to believe them and trust them. I don't know what just happened to Maya. Okay. She just said I'm out. But a lot of times you need to just believe them and trust them and not necessarily go back and wait for the masses to be able to tell you who you are, and you can define yourself. You decide who you are. I have nothing else. This has been a completely
Test.
hi.
Man, I don't know what happened. I was talking up a stone. Not a stone, but I said, first of all, I said, what's up, Portia, miss your girl, and good luck on y'all show in Atlanta. But what I wanted to say, Luke, is to everybody, work on healing yourself because you are worth it. Real. That's all I got to say.
That's literally kind of what I was saying, but you said it in a few short words. So very good. All right, man. This has been super dope. I have nothing else. We will have Maya tomorrow. Maya and Posha, and like I said, like Doc said, Posha. Maya, Posha, and Sean tomorrow, and then we will have Crystal on Friday. We may be a little bit late with Crystal. So just look for a time change, or if you already subscribe to the Passionate Network, you can see that notification pop up when they go on. Also, please make sure you like and subscribe on the way out. If you're watching this on playback, go ahead and click that like button while you're watching us on playback. Share this out with your people. There we go. Let's put it back there. There we go. All of us are back in here before we get out of here. Anyway, if you're watching us on playback, man, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button. Share this information out. Share this show out. I think every show is important, but I think this show was definitely important, man. We got to talk about conquering our fears, getting your help, getting some people around you. I have nothing else. This is super dope. We will see you guys on next week. Deuces.